Okay, just coming for an evening's walk in Wepre. Let's see if we see anything interesting. It's not a pro walk, just come out with some friends. A little pitch thing there. Old ancient woodland up here at Wepre. It's quite popular for a number of years with locals and what have you. And then a couple of years ago there was an article in, I think it was the Liverpool Echo and the Manchester Evening News, and since then there's been quite a few people coming up here. It's allegedly haunted by the ghost of someone called Nora the Nun. I've come through this park at midnight or similar when I finished work. I used to work in a place called Ulo nearby, and I'd walk through the park to get back down here to Connersky. And I've walked through these woods at midnight alone in the dark on a few occasions. And I'll be honest, I've not seen anything. Let's knock up the ISO a bit so you can see you get a bit of grain now, like. But this is the children's park. Just have a bit of a nose around. Just bear with me, I'm getting cold. I thought I'd bring my camera along just in case we did see anything unusual. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Like I say, I'd be very, very surprised if we see anything. You know, you go for it, Jim. There is a bit of a ghost story, isn't there? What's it all about?
It's further down.
It's just
about the nun, isn't it? That's the one. No, there's a nun that died on the waterfall back in Victorian time.
I don't think her name was Norma though.
No.
What was the? I know that everyone calls her Nora the Nun, but what was the tale, Jim? I'll have to get a bit closer.
It's basically.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Oh, you know it, dear.
Yeah.
The nun, or the woman.
Yeah.
And she had a child.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was her child or whether she was looking after it.
Yeah.
But I think that the story was the child went in the water and she went in to rescue the child or something.
I see.
But don't quote me on that.
And that's the alleged ghost.
There's loads of other stories. Loads and loads of other stories. I think she was like a nun.
Yeah.
I think she was a nanny. Like back in the olden days, the nuns were nannies, weren't they?
For the rich people in the hall.
Where the golf course is.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the middle of it, obviously it wasn't a golf course then, but there was a house.
Yeah.
It slid away, with the bad weathers and stuff. And I'm not sure if that's where they lived. The nanny nuns people.
Right. Well, there used to be a massive hall here, didn't there? Wepre Hall.
Yeah, Wepre Hall.
That was owned by the Freem family.
1960s when it finished.
Yeah, I think the local authority took it over.
The council did, and then they were renting out the rooms like flats and that.
Yeah.
And then people were complaining they were getting their feet tickled in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Because it was haunted. But the It just, they left it and left it and left it to rot. Nothing was done with it, which is a shame, because it would have been like National Trust now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the cellars are still here.
Yes, I believe so.
Underneath the visitor centre, the cellars are still here.
Yeah.
And I think if you ask, they will let you go down, but only at certain times.
Yeah.
Underneath the nice cafe there. Do nice hot meals, sandwiches, jacket potatoes.
We have done a bit of a walk through Wepre before on a couple of occasions, so
I don't know when, about 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe.
yeah, so there is a bit of info that we've already done on this place on other videos that I've got.
But yeah, it was a massive hole, wasn't it, here?
Yeah, this visitor centre here is where the hall once stood, or part of the hall at least.
Yeah.
I think it went back down there as well.
There is, as you go up towards the castle and you come out onto the main road, there's little cottages, and they were something to do with this. You know, the keeper's cottage and all that kind of thing. Which is
The
still
moon,
there.
I don't know if
People
this will
living
pick
on
it up because it's not the world's most fantastic camera, but the moon does look outstanding tonight. No, I can't get it, unfortunately, but it does look amazing. Pity,
There's your cafe.
pity you can't get it.
Visitor centre and cafe.
It's proper full moon tonight, so this is the right place to find werewolves.
And this is quiet, because in the day it gets really busy.
Yeah, I mentioned about that.
Really busy. So that's one of the, like, part of the old gate posts, I think.
You see?
And then there's a walk to the castle, which is 30 minutes. If you can walk good, but if you struggle, a bit longer, because there's loads of steps by the castle.
30 minutes from this point.
Loads of steps.
Stick this up so you can see a bit better.
Loads of steps.
Is that new building that was on there?
I think it is, yeah.
It's been there a few years though.
No, I know, a couple of years, maybe 5 or 10
I think
years.
it's part of the visitor
You
centre.
know, this centre, that was built in the late 80s, wasn't it? I know,
Yeah.
about 89,
Yeah.
88, 87.
'Cause,
Back not mid,
There was
late.
public
Normally
toilets by the main entrance.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
it.
did have a little shop,
Yeah.
but there was no cafe as such then.
Yeah.
And they've been doing the gardens up as well to make them look original.
Like a window
Back
there.
to the olden days. So there's
Yeah.
an old gate.
Yeah,
This would have been the gardens, wouldn't it, for the house?
yeah. I think this gatepost here would have led into the hall, which would have stood roughly about here.
Because
down there is like the waterfall, isn't it?
Yeah, if you go down the side here, you can see.
here part of the old buildings, look.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go to it if you want to have a look. Yeah, the other building there.
I'll take a quick gander. This is part of the old gardens. They're trying to recreate them. And there's a bit of the old building here. Just whack up the ISO again a bit.
No, I'm
There you
not
go,
sure
see?
what they would have been.
No.
Go in there, yeah.
But this is part
It was
of...
like little. Yes, it was like a wine bit. Put your wine in.
possibly. This is part of the original hall area.
The wine cellars are usually in the cellar, though, aren't they?
There's not a great deal of the old hall remaining, but the council are trying their best to recreate the old gardens to an extent, as they would have been about 100 years ago or so. This is a modern recreation, I think, of the fountain that used to be here. There was a fountain here originally exactly like this, but I believe it was taken to the bowling green on the main road in Conisky, where it was just completely trashed by vandals,
It's not
unfortunately.
the original, is it?
What you can't see there's a monkey puzzle tree there,
Not the original.
but it's a bit hard to see at night.
Up here is the graveyard for the animals.
Yeah, do you want to go and see there?
It's
Never
not
come there if you
the,
want.
it's not
Yeah, I
the
love it here. We'll go.
original
You want
place.
to go, yeah.
They've moved them because
Move the stones, yeah.
people digging and stuff. So around here is where they're buried somewhere.
Yeah.
The gravestones like that. And on that board there on the other side is a picture of what the house looked like
Yeah,
on the back of that board.
go and have a nose in a minute. Well, actually, while I'm here, I'll nip over. I'll come over there in a sec, Jim. Just get a quick look at the hall as it once was. Well, that is roughly what it used to look like. Just drop the ISO down a little bit.
Oh, you can see, can't you? Yeah.
There you go. That was the
On
old
this
hall.
side, yeah, there it is. My dad used to deliver the milk there.
And this is the location
When
as
my dad was a milkman
where it
when he was
was.
a kid.
Where was that house? Was it right here, was it? Or
just
where?
there, just stood the other side of the garden. Because there,
Right up there?
the garden that we've just
See the circular
passed
bit
by.
there?
Yeah.
That's the circular bit in the middle there.
Yeah.
So it's just...
So the house is there, but there's a house over that side or here? if you
No,
get me.
that side.
Which side?
That side.
That's the house. It's by
Yeah.
the, basically, the house is there then. Looking
Yeah.
by the business centre.
Here, get away from those voices. Here's the garden, and then just across the way there is where the house would have stood. Back many years ago. But yeah, I think that is a modern recreation of the original fountain. It was taken to the, I think they were called the Ceremonial Gardens or something like that, or the Centennial Gardens.
Didn't do no work on it. Council bought it. And so they're putting their hand in their pocket to keep it nice. Because you'd have a house now and either somebody living in it or National Trust for you to go around, isn't it?
Yeah. There was at one point up here, so it's alright, I can see fine. Thank you though. Yeah, there was at one point up here a little, like a wooden archway that they built. Last time I saw it, it was starting to be, I don't know if it was vandalised or if the elements were just getting to it, to be honest. Yeah, it's very dark here, so I will have to up the ISO to enable you to see. We'll have a look at the sundial.
Went up there is where the graves are, and it up through that archway, which is not old. The Wepre have made that in the last few years. There never used to be an archway there, did there?
Now this is reasonably new as well, because I don't recall this last summer, maybe 2020. In memory of George Crowther. It's in memory of a gentleman.
No, I didn't mean to leave you there, but I wouldn't. It's alright going down the steps, maybe about 10-20 metres away, but I wouldn't want to be going down here on my own, like, would you?
I've done it.
Did you? Really?
Years ago, yeah, years ago.
When was that? When you used to go on your own from school or something? Or?
No, when I used to work in ULO. About 1999, 98, 97.
You really? You used to
Yeah.
walk on your own at night?
Yeah, through the woods.
Yeah, but it'd probably be alright in them days though, wouldn't you? Well, even today, I suppose.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's risky.
I never saw any ghosts.
No, people attacking you, no. Yeah, I thought it would be alright.
Get this side. Right, so this is where
Well, the steps, I'm not sure what steps.
Where the brick is,
They
that's
maybe
all.
have been replaced over the years.
this is where the wooden thing is.
But all the bricks, you can see that's new-ish, last few years, but there might have been something there before.
Last time I come, it looked a bit damaged, like the tiles
Yeah,
were coming
they've,
off a little. But
They've
it,
taken some of the wood off the roof, haven't they?
Don't go
yeah,
too
it
far.
could.
If you go up, there's a little pond up there, do you know? A little
Yeah,
pond, it's
there
nice.
is, yeah. And
What do you rather see? Do you want to see the pond or do you want to see the waterfall? What would you rather?
We'll see the pond if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a bit of both.
Let's see the pond.
The pond's only just there.
Yeah.
Where's the waterfall? I don't want to go away from that, it's just too far. But where's the
Pause
waterfall?
this for a sec.
If you look at the seats,
Okay.
we've got a life cycle of a Newton one and something else on another one.
Yeah, I filmed that in the daytime, so it's easy to see that.
All the
But,
seats and stuff on them. And up there is the graves, isn't it? Animal graves.
There's a little ornamental pond here.
Nice, isn't it?
This isn't the Rosie.
No,
There is a
roses
big-
over there.
There is a big pond a bit further on that's for fishing mainly.
That's why you best if you did.
This is the little pond. It's like the ornamental pond. There's a few chairs lying around and what have you.
You don't move down around, do you, these days?
Image will be a bit grainy, sorry, we've got high ISO at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to head off down to the waterfall now, which is, I don't think the camera will pick it up, but it's just down the road. Just down the path here. I can actually hear the waterfall, but I don't know if the camera will be sensitive enough. I'll just drop this down a little brightness. I'll follow these guys. I'm not a skeptic at all, really. I'm quite open to supernatural type things, but I haven't seen a lot. Well, I haven't seen a lot here. There's a couple of places that we've been in years gone by, because Jimmy and I have been going out for walks in the woods and all over the place for about 20 years. We're going all over the place. I've only filmed in recent times some of the journeys that we've been on, and we don't film all of them because we're not paranormal experts or anything along those sort of lines, but we do go to some spooky places, and two places that we've been to in recent years that were, I don't know, a little bit unusual. With Gladith Woods, that was very spooky. It's similar to this place, but it's got an unusual aura about the place. It's just a little bit odd. You get quite unnerved in there, whereas you don't really in Wepre, or at least I don't. And the other place was a churchyard, because we've been to a few of those as well, wandering round over the years. We've been to various places, and the church called Weve. We went to a church called Weve, and that was very unusual. We saw a few things on a couple of visits we went there. It was quite odd. There was a unusual moan once. I did pick it up on camera on one of my other videos, Weve Church, and there was an odd moan, and you really have to pause the video, put it in slow-mo or something like that, but there was definitely a really odd moan. It was unusual, to say the least. And we also saw a light sort of hovering inside the church, and I thought fire alarm, something along those lines, but it was like a white mist that was inside the light, inside the church, sorry, this unusual light. We've also had, I don't know, unusual things, like we went there once and there was a dead crow just lying on the floor there, just sort of like splayed out. Just a little unusual. Anne-Marie's got the torch out there. She's spotted a digger. It must be doing a bit of work down down the bottom.
I work out what it was. You said you did, and I don't know what it was.
But if you're really into your ghosts and spooks and spectres and that, we're not really ghostbusters as such. We go around looking for them, but we haven't really found any. And we're no experts, we don't go around with EMF meters and all that kind of business and spirit boxes or anything along those sort of lines. We just go for a bit of a walk. And I think what it stemmed from was we used to finish work, and it was always dark when you finished work, so we used to go and have a look around some spookier places for about 20 years or so. And in that 20 years I haven't really seen a great deal that was too spooky, so that's why I'm still a little bit, I don't know, open-minded, not sceptical, just open-minded. There might be something, there might not, who knows. You never know, I might see something in a minute and scare me to death, God knows. Heading now down towards the waterfall, you can hear it a little bit stronger now. They have in recent times, well I say recent times, in the last 10, 15 years, maybe 20, put in a walkway along here. This walkway here didn't exist years ago, just a muddy path with a lot of ponds and things. These days you've got this path that leads off into the distance. You've got a digger over there that I'm really shining the torch on. And there are a few ponds and things. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they're doing there. There's a bit of digging going on. Maybe they're opening the waterfall up again. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm no parks expert, so I'm not quite sure what they're up to. But like I say, over the years we've seen a couple of things, but I've not really seen anything yet that says, yeah, there's definitely ghosts or anything along those lines. But that's not to say that they don't exist. There's always the possibility. Heading now down towards the waterfall. Not far now, you possibly hear it a bit better. Path across the way, I'll up the ISO again because it's quite dark. That's it, that's at max now, so you get quite a lot of noise, I'm afraid, on the picture. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, whether they're upgrading the paths or something. Yeah, maybe they're upgrading the path, I don't know.
It's like stop, you know, when it's really, really raining.
Yeah.
This bit gets flooded, super flooded.
Yeah, so perhaps that's all it's for, is to prevent flooding. Like I say, I'm no expert on
That does get flooded.
forestry or anything, so not 100% sure. What this waterfall was used for originally was for electricity generation for the old hall, and for many years there was still quite a lot of bits remaining. I think as the council took over the running of the park, they gradually got rid of everything that existed still. There were a few little brick bits, and you could see where a generator had once stood. But we are talking many years ago. Not quite sure if this torch will reach that far because it's just like a little flat light on the top of the camera, but there is the waterfall. And I can get a better view over here. Try not to break my neck, or I'll be the next ghost at Wepre. There we go, there's the waterfall. Just to that little rock outcrop there, I think that is where the old generation part was. And up on the top of the waterfall there's like a little door that you can't really see very well. And you could open and close that, I suppose, to make the water come through faster or slower or whatever for generation of electricity. That's long gone, the door's been swiped and chucked away, but you can see the posts where it used to be. So let's get back up here and hopefully not break my neck. Yeah, so on this brief little walk into Wepre, I've not seen anything unusual, not heard any unusual noises or anything. Haven't seen much in the way of wildlife, badgers or foxes or rabbits, hedgehogs, anything. Not seen anything yet anyway. There you go, the bridge has been recently fixed here because this had cones around it for a while. And you can see the wood's been renewed. I think it was starting to rot a little bit on the bridge here. The camera can't pick up the waterfall from here, you can hear it but you can't really see it. And then there's a bit of the water leading off out into the night. Some steps that lead off up there. There's another walk that heads off into the woods a little bit further. And if we'd have carried on the path across the way up there, you then head off on a woodland path that leads past a thing called Red Rock and onto the castle. Now, I don't think I've done a night castle video, so we'll have to go up there at some point. I don't think we're going to go there tonight, but I'm just having a bit of a wander. But, I haven't seen anything too untoward. A little bit further on. This area, now we're walking away from the waterfall, we're heading towards a place called the Dell. Now when I was a kid and when lots of people around here were kids, it was a big hill into the Dell here, and all the kiddies used to come with their sleds and they used to come down the hill on the sleigh back when it used to snow and stick. I think global warming's changed that. It doesn't really stick for more than 2 hours these days and vanishes generally, but back in the 80s and the 60s and the 70s, etc., it used to get quite thick, the snow, and you could go for a sleigh ride down the hill. They put this in as well recently. I don't actually know what this is for. It's sort of a higher ground walk or something. I don't know if it's to stop the water when it overflows or something. I don't really know what it's for, I must admit. It's just a load of mud on a mud track. It looks like a dirt bike track, to be honest. But I don't think the local authority would stick a dirt bike track in to a little forest like this, so I'm not quite sure why it's there. We're walking up the hill now towards where kids used to come down on their sleigh. And this heads back up to the car park as well. The bench if you get tired. Moon's going behind the clouds. Pity I can't capture the moon a bit better, but I've only got like a 24mm lens on this. I put this one on because it's a little bit better in the dark. And these hills are full of brambles and what have you, these should be full of grass. And these bushes and trees and things, these weren't here either. There was a few, but they've proliferated quite a lot over the years. Yeah, so you get kids thundering down from the top and swooping down here on the sleds. The local authority, Flintshire Council, have over the years tried to make it a little bit more accessible, I think, to families and things. And it's advertised more now. It was just a quiet little woods really for many years. People would come and walk the dogs or whatever. Nowadays on a weekend, for example, you're lucky to be able to get a spot in the car park and it's heaving. Especially in the summer months, absolutely chocker. It never used to be like that. It was very, very quiet. So as a little kid you could come down here and play in the brook for hours on end and probably only see a couple of people. Kiddies' playground up there. And those lights over there, that's where the visitors centre or the old hall would have been. I'm heading back towards the car park now. Just round the corner. I think Anne-Marie's trying to see if she can see badgers. See any badgers, love? No. No badgers. To be honest, they probably know we're here long before we see them. Bit of digging going on here. Not quite sure what that's all about. Ah, there's a pipe there.
What is it?
It's a pipe. Not sure, a wastewater pipe or something.
Oh God.
I honestly don't know. I'm assuming. Yeah. May have been an old waste pipe from the hall. Perhaps dumping into the brook hundreds of years ago. Yeah, like Anne-Marie was saying before, the whole shut in the late 50s, early 60s. The rumour was at the time that the children were all swimming in the River Dee and a few had drowned, so the council gave the people a choice. We can either save Wepre or have a swimming pool built in Connosky to prevent the children getting drowned. So they went for the swimming pool, obviously. And demolished the hall. Kind of ironic. Typically it's the council have discharged their duties on that one now, and it's now a private run swimming pool. They've flogged it, so they don't have to look after that either. But it's a lovely place to come. A little bit busier in the summertime now than it used to be, but it's still nice, always worth a visit. And you've seen it at night as well a little. And we haven't bumped into any ghosts. Not this time. Maybe next time, eh? Okay, I'll call it quits there. Jump back in the car. Bye for now.
I can take him out in the car and get him alive.
Take them home and they go, Mum, I got you a pet.
Unfortunately, I've got a lot of condensation on the lens because I've just put it in the car. And the fox has come out. I can't see him though. Where's he gone? Oh, he's on the grass. There he goes. Yeah, he's scarpered.